If you were to go back to when you were in either high school or college, what is the best piece of advice that you would tell your younger self?
Probably would be to take more chances. Don't be as calculated. You can risk a little bit more when you're younger, right? There's more time to make up for it, so to speak. So that's probably.
And I guess I'll just kind of follow up with that, but what have you seen the importance or value in taking chances or risk at an early age, when you're young?
Well, like I said, you've got a little bit more room for error when you're younger, right? You're not married, you don't have kids, you can take those risks. When you get older, you've got a lot more things you have to account for, right? So, taking those risks when you're younger, leaning on those relationships that you have with your friends and people that you meet when you're out can be beneficial later on in life.
Absolutely. And what industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
I work in real estate.
Real estate?
Yeah.
And what is your best piece of advice for someone pursuing the real estate industry in 2022?
Man, that's a tough question. I work in the commercial world, but I started in residential. I would probably say that's a tough question. I don't necessarily know how to answer that. Really, you just have to, I would say...
Are you in the sales side? Or
yeah,
okay.
So I cover a little bit of everything. We do a lot of acquisitions, dispositions, tenant rep, we kind of the whole gambit.
So I guess I'll ask, from what you've seen, how can someone crush it in sales in 2022 as it pertains to not just real estate, but just sales in general? What have you seen that really sets people apart?
Communicating with clients, really getting out there and talking to as many people as you can, and making sure that people feel like you're listening to what they need, and just be a bird dog. Go out and find it and bring it to them.
Love that. And just two last questions. For someone coming out of college, what is your best piece of advice to someone who's starting out in the real world today?
Go back to college. No, I'm just kidding. That's a tough one. I would probably say the stuff that you learned in college, you're not necessarily going to be using in your everyday life, unless you're a doctor or a scientist or something like that. I would say lean on the relationships that the people that you've met in college, to see, there could be a lot of opportunity there. And I think that's a good pool for finding potential business in any industry that you go into. It's just, getting out there and talking to people and making sure you stay in contact with the people you did meet in college.
Absolutely. I love that. And my last question is, it's kind of a fun one we've been asking people, but if you had 1 year to make $1 million and your life depended on it, what would you do?
I would look for opportunities with established real estate developers who already have stuff in the pipeline and maybe need some sort of cash call or maybe, right now there's a lot of people looking for stuff here that can't find it, and they have the capital. So if you're aggressive and not afraid to knock on doors and start random conversations with people like this, you can find it.
Absolutely.
You can make $1 million in a year, especially in this market.